Hi beautiful people, welcome to this video. My name is Miriam and in this video we'll be talking about 7 reasons why being in the present moment is beneficial. The first reason is when we're in the present moment, we can be more aware of our emotions and how we feel. So we're more connected to ourselves and therefore, we're able to be more authentic in the way that we express ourselves and also in the way that we communicate. Being connected to our emotions can also help us allow others to be more connected with their emotions because we can begin to understand more and more the importance of that, and we will also encourage that in others. Number 2, being in the present moment can help reduce anxiety and depression. If you think about it, anxiety and depression are a lot about the future and the past. The thoughts that kind of surround things like what if, or fears of experiences repeating themselves, or it could be not really wanting to be in the present moment because there's a fear there, there's something, anxiety or thoughts that are stopping us from truly enjoying the present moment. So when we learn to be more present in the moment and more comfortable with that, that can help us reduce the amount of anxious and depressive thoughts that we have. Number 3, this can help regulate our nervous system by being in the present moment, because when our nervous system is triggered and we're experiencing that fight, flight, freeze or even fawn response, which is people pleasing, often pretty much most or all the time, we're not in the present moment. A lot of these triggers that we're experiencing are based on past trauma, past experiences, and it's something that's been changed in our brain to change our nervous system to be triggered based on things that aren't actually in this present moment affecting our survival. Because this is what's happened when we've experienced trauma. Our survival response changes. So when we learn to be more present in the moment, we can then regulate our nervous system more and more. And we can relearn that we don't need to be triggered right now. We don't need to experience a survival response from someone not texting us back, or someone not doing something that they said that they would do. Those kind of things generally aren't a threat to our survival, but our survival response can be triggered in those situations based on our childhood. And as a child, when our needs weren't met promptly, then we are impacted in terms of our survival, because we are dependent on our main caregiver or caregivers. But now as adults, we have a lot more control and skills and access and abilities and all of these things. So it is not really in this moment a threat to our survival. So learning to be in the present moment can help regulate our nervous system. Doing grounding techniques, meditation, these sort of things, which don't work for everyone, but they can work to help us regulate our nervous system more and more for some people. And it's all about finding what works for you, right? Number 4, being more connected to ourselves and also others. And it's about creating quality time rather than a quantity of time. These days we've got such instant access to everyone, and if you think about history and the past and the non-existence of Wi-Fi, the non-existence of mobile phones, how people communicated with each other via letters or emails in the beginning of Wi-Fi. These kind of slower ways of communicating with people, and I'm sure there would have been a lot more thought that went into the communication, especially letters that would take perhaps weeks or months to get to the person that it's intended for. There would be a lot of thought put into each word, which often we don't really have these days because communication is so instant, which can be a blessing to be so connected and so quickly connected to others, but it can also produce other challenges and barriers and anxieties and things as well, because there are these additional expectations to have a response within a certain time, or a certain response or a certain way that things are communicated, and our nervous system can become so attached to these forms of communication which at one point never even existed. So being more in the present moment can help us not be as attached to these forms of communication and our nervous system being impacted by them. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5, being more in the present moment can help us learn to be more grateful for the small things. If we're taking this time to just do life slower instead of rushing and being busy and going from thing to thing, doing this, doing that, being constantly on the go, almost at the brink of burnout, slowing down, taking some deep breaths, doing meditation, going for a walk, journaling, allowing the time for ourselves to properly process our emotions and what's happening around us can actually help us create this space for gratitude to come from enjoying the small things, so being grateful for the small things instead of just whizzing by life so quickly and not really being present with what's happening. Soon we'll look back and even perhaps wish that we didn't take certain things for granted or take advantage of certain experiences. And by being in the present moment, this can help us really cherish the things that are happening and be grateful for what's happening now, which might not always be accessible to us as we get older. So number 6, being present in the moment can actually help us heal from trauma, which is similar to my 3rd point in terms of regulating our nervous system. It can also help us heal from trauma because trauma can keep us in a dissociative state, and it can also lead to us repressing our emotions. So by being more in the present moment, slowing down our nervous system, being connected to how we're feeling, being aware of what emotions are going on within us, can help us heal from trauma because we're no longer reacting, I should say. We're not reacting to experiences around us, but we're able to more slow down and actually respond, which is a more authentic response from who we are as opposed to a reaction from our subconscious trauma experience or from something that we're not even aware of when we're reacting. It's not until later, once we've calmed down, that we can see, oh, I was actually triggered. I actually reacted in that situation. So by being more in the present moment, we can prevent reacting from a triggered state, and therefore we're rewiring our brain and our experience because we're not continuing that same reactive pattern. And so in responding, that's actually a process of healing. And that is healing from, one aspect of healing from trauma when we start to respond instead of react in situations. Number 7 is properly processing our experiences so we can move on. So when we're not in the present moment, we're not necessarily properly processing a lot of what we're experiencing, and when certain things happen, it can kind of add to this trauma back that we have. And so if we're actually properly being in the moment and processing how we feel, we're less likely to repress our emotions. And emotions, energy, it's got to go somewhere. So if we're not processing our energies, it's going to stay in our body until we process it. So by being in the present moment, we can process how we're feeling in the moment and actually move on and continue to be in the moment, because we're not stuck in what happened a week ago or a month ago or 5 years ago, because we're in the present moment, right here, right now, living in this experience and in how we're feeling from this experience. So there you go, 7 reasons why being in the present moment is so beneficial. I hope this has helped you, and look forward to seeing you in future videos. I'm a qualified counsellor and coach. I'm interested in psychology, astrology, manifestation, personal development, attachment theory, and much more. And I'm looking forward to creating more content around these things and connecting with you over time. So see you in the next video. Feel free to also watch my follow-up video on 10 ways to practice being in the present moment. I'll make sure to add the link for that in the description below so you can check that out.